On today's episode, I am very excited because I've actually been wanting to explore the name Kate or Catherine for a while now. There's a lot of controversy about this name and over the past few years, and I definitely am so excited to introduce my next guest, Kate. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the first question. And that is, without researching, when I first gave you those set of questions, did you know the meaning of your name? And if so, what is it?
I did know the meaning of my name, and I believe it's pure or pure one.
Hmm.
And my name is actually Kathleen, and my middle name is Mary. So I kind of consider my name to be Kathleen Mary.
Oh,
And I
cool.
go by Kate.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like Kate too. I know quite a few Kates at work too. And I think it's a very strong name. And I like the just like the four letter Kate instead of Catherine. But my daughter's middle name is Catherine. I think it's beautiful. So.
Yes, that is beautiful. And as a kid, I always wanted it to be Catherine instead of Kathleen, but my family is basically all from Ireland for many, many years, mom's side, dad's side. And so we were all named, I'm the youngest of nine kids. We were all named something that was somewhat Irish.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I was also named after two of my aunts. So I have an Aunt Kate on my mom's side and an Aunt Kate on my dad's side.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
And you're the youngest of nine?
I'm the youngest of nine kids. Yep. And I think my
Wow.
parents were actually, from what I've heard story wise, my dad wanted to name me Margaret and call me Maggie. And my mom was like, no, I don't like that name. So um,
Interesting.
that's how they landed on that. And my mom was 43 when I was born. I think I was very much a last minute surprise because my next sibling is about 6 years older than me. And so as number nine, I always tell my mom she saved the best for last. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so that's how I got my name.
That's very interesting. And did your dad say why he wanted to name you Margaret?
Yes, he had a very, very good friend who we visited a lot actually in the nursing homes who was named Margaret. And
Hmm.
I'm not sure exactly how they met. My parents are both very faithful Catholics.
Hmm.
And I believe they met through some sort of like church volunteer organization or something like that. So he wanted to name me after that, Margaret.
Okay. And then so how did they end up just choosing Kate or Kathleen?
I think they basically were like, okay, what's a family name that is also Irish, that's
Hmm.
also named after a saint? So I have a patron saint associated with my name, just like all my siblings do. And so I think they kind of just landed on this is a reasonable name. I think also, like, I was born in 1987 and Kate's pretty popular for 1987. So I'm sure that was part of it as well.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it seems to me, after interviewing so many people now, the most common theme that I'm seeing is that a lot of people have names because other people in their family had that name. And so that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. And also, do you like that your name means pure and why or why not?
I've always really loved the meaning of my name. I always thought it kind of inspired me to remain pure. And I guess for me, what pure means is like I I remain open and my heart remains clean in a way that like is always, how can I describe this? I kind of try to be a refreshing person. So I let
Mhm.
things go. I try not to hold on to resentment. I try to just be present and open even to people who have hurt me in the past. I try to remain open to people changing. And I think all those things are very pure. And
Mhm.
I think the name meaning has inspired me to like live into that, be pure of heart, kind of. So, yeah.
I like that. And you kind of answered question number seven of do you think the meaning of your name is relevant on the way you act or see the world around you with that response too, in the same regard? Because I think that that's I think that's really neat if you can see that about your name and then also reflect that into your life.
And to tell you the truth, like obviously I don't succeed at that. I think it's more of like an aspirational thing to me. Like who
Yeah.
doesn't want to be pure, right? Like
Right.
I imagine like a clean rushing river that has, no trash in it. It's beautiful, it's refreshing, and I think, anyone would aspire to that. So I got lucky with my name meaning.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that is my strongest theory right now, as of right now. That I guess depending on the meaning of your name, this could be because some people have names that like the meaning is just out there. So
Yeah.
like my theory could be like nothing. But
Right.
part of my theory is that the meaning of your name is like a goal or an aspiration or something to strive towards, or it could be like in the opposite regard, because my name it means supplanter, like to turn over to look at something from a different perspective. Like I always look at things from different perspectives. And I think it could be also like a warning sign. So, like, I don't know. That's just
Interesting.
my theory.
Well, that's a really cool name meaning for Jama. I did not know that. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Yes, it will be on my first or my second episode where I will answer all the questions myself.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah, thanks. Well, and I like not to dive down too far down the rabbit hole, but since we were talking about, do you like the meaning of your name? I just thought it was so interesting. And when I messaged you, I was like, there's controversy about your name. You're like, what?
Yeah. I'm like, that's
Because
the least controversial name ever. But yeah, go on.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and your name is not Karen. Your name is
It,
Kate or
that's
Kathleen,
right. Right.
but the name Karen derives from the same name. And so technically you are not that name, but
Yeah.
the name Karen means exactly the same thing. And I thought it was interesting because I've found it fascinating. I'm like okay, so I'm not into signs. I'm a Pisces. I'm born in March. I'm a very emotional person. I'm a very empathetic person. And one day, like 4 years ago, my daughter came home from school and was like, "Oh, you're acting like such a Karen to me." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, first off, you are abusing somebody's name. Like, you don't do that, like in my house.
Right.
I
Right.
would never let anybody abuse someone's name. And then I thought, like, it's so interesting because when I looked up the meaning of the name Karen, and then also there was like this fad on like calling guys like Chads, like if they were like, I don't know, annoying or whatever. And like the meaning of when I was like, oh, it means pure. And there's like an attack on the word pure, like the meaning pure. I was like, huh, like that's
Wow.
interesting. And then
Yeah.
Chad is like, an alpha male, like that's like the slang term for Chad. But it actually means protector or defender. And I
Wow.
thought that that was interesting. And so from a spiritual and psychological perspective, I just think something is there.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I think, you know, I went to a Jesuit college and they really taught that God is in all things.
Mhm.
And we did a lot of reflecting and retreats around seeing God in every single thing. Like I'm looking out at my deck and it's like if I was on a retreat right now, I could reflect on the many ways that this deck points me closer to God's creation and God's goodness and opens me up to this spiritual world. So, why wouldn't you be right? I'm sure our names have a connection. I don't believe that there are many accidents. Um, so yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just interesting, like mind-boggling.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. All right. Next question. If you were forced to change your name, or oh no, sorry, actually, let me go back to the fourth one. Have you ever wanted to change your name? Why or why not?
Yeah, so
Did you
kind of
already say
funny.
that?
Well, I didn't. This is kind of a funny story. It shows my superficial preteen self, but
Hmm.
I've always gone by Katie to my family. And when I was in fifth grade and Titanic was out, obviously that was the center of my universe was Kate
Oh,
Winslet. Yeah.
yes.
Um, so when Kate Winslet was in Titanic, I was like, well, I have to change my name to Kate. Like I cannot be a Katie. And um I did. I changed it. I started signing all my school papers, Kate, in a very preteen way. I announced it to my family. They were completely fine with it and just kept calling me Katie and ignored me. They still do call me Katie. Um and yeah, and I'm obviously it wasn't a big transition, but it's kind of
Yeah,
funny that I obviously did want to be called something different. And
I love
then
it.
in grad school, I lived in Los Angeles and, it was kind of just a fun time in my life. So I lived in an intentional Christian community, but when we would go out to bars and stuff, I should be honest, like, I don't know that I lived the most Christian lifestyle there. I would always change my name to Molly. And I would always tell people that I was a plus size model in LA just for funsies. So I guess Molly would be my other fun name. I love the name Molly. Still do.
That's so funny. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And how do you remember the feelings that you felt when you started signing your name, Kate?
Huh. That's a good question. I think I just felt like liberated, that sense
Hmm.
of independence and like I was coming into my own identity. So I think those feelings that come along with that liberation and freedom and like ownership over who I am, no one else gets to tell me, that kind of thing. So,
Gotcha. I like that. And that makes sense.
yeah.
And so if you were forced to change your name, would it be Molly or would it be something different?
I know that's a tough one. I think I would right now. I have two favorite names, Molly and Samantha. I love both of those names. They're also both American Girl dolls. I don't think
Yeah.
that that's I don't think that that's an accident. I loved those when I was a kid. So I would
Yes.
say if I had
Yeah.
another daughter, it'd be Molly or Samantha. So probably one of those.
I think you could pass for one of those too, just because I know what you look like and
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
for
You never
sure.
know.
Right. And I can't imagine that your name has ever been mispronounced, but has it been?
No, definitely not.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Everyone knows
Pretty
my name.
straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay. And you kind of already answered, like, do you think the meaning of your name has any relevance on the way you act or see the world around you? Do you have any more that you want to add to what you said previously?
Um, I don't think so. I will say I didn't have a chance to talk about the saint that I'm named after, which is actually she's a Catherine. Her name's Saint Catherine of Siena.
Hmm.
And in my adult life, especially since having kids, I've really struggled with my Catholic faith and some of the belief systems that are associated with it.
Hmm.
Um, and I think, every human being who endeavors to believe in God struggles with their faith.
Hmm.
I don't think I'm unique in that. But St. Catherine of Siena in particular, I have a very strong connection with because she really kind of put the popes in their place when she disagreed with some of what they were doing. And her story has been like very close to my heart as I've struggled because I feel like this tension with the hierarchy in the Catholic Church.
Hmm.
Um, and she did too. So I think it's so cool that she's been my patron saint all along and kind of guiding me along this path in life. And she's someone that I just like admire and learn from. And yeah, she's just a very rich person in my history personally. So,
Nice. That's interesting. I had no idea. And I don't really know too much about the Catholic faith. My husband was born and raised Catholic, went to Catholic school, the whole nine yards. But I don't really have any knowledge of all of that. So, but I think
yeah,
it's interesting and I'm open to learning. I love that.
yeah, I mean, it has its good parts and it has its bad parts, like every institution,
Yeah.
that's led by human beings. But for me, I think people always ask me, how did you end up Catholic? And the truth is, I think because I was born and raised Catholic, and I think I probably would have just been, to me, the Catholic Church is like a family or another home. And, you get in fights with your family all the time. You get frustrated. You want to go away from home. But for me, it's such a deep part of my identity that
Hmm.
even when it's not, um, you know, on, even when I'm not in agreement with it, I realize that if I went anywhere else, I would find problems with that too. So that's
Yeah.
kind of how I've remained close to that in my life.
Yeah. That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. And so the last question I have for you is regarding the Bible, which is the best-selling book of all time. And I thought that that was interesting because means, I mean, regardless of whether you have faith or not, which I know that you do now,
Yeah.
like it goes to say that I think the best-selling book of all time, there is something there. There is something very important in every single word of that book. And so I thought I would ask you what you thought of it. Like, what do you think the significance is with the Bible mentioning at least three, if not more, people where their names changed? Sarai was changed to Sarah, Abram was changed to Abraham, and Saul was changed to Paul. Like, what do you think the significance of that being mentioned in that book is?
Well, I mean, obviously, the general understanding is you've taken a new identity on in Christ, right?
Mhm.
So when they've kind of accepted that, oh, Christ is Lord of all the universe, and they've had that conversion moment, their name has changed, right? And I, I I've always enjoyed the story of Saul changing to Paul in particular,
Mhm.
and thought it was interesting. And I liked the idea that his name changed because his identity changed.
Mhm.
However, I will say I kind of have strong opinions on this. So come at me if you disagree. But I have family members who I have a family member who has changed his name. He's in a religious order. And so he's taken on a new name through that religious order, following that similar symbolism
Hmm.
of what happened in the Bible. And that's actually not uncommon among Catholic religious orders. So, for example, if you are studying to become a sister or a nun, you will take on an entirely new name. I live by nuns. I live by St. Michael Church in Worthington, Ohio, and I don't know their names that they were baptized into. I know their names that they've changed in the religious order. So it's been difficult for me, I think, because my family member who has changed his name, like I associated that name with him for so long.
Mhm.
And so I've struggled to like accept that identity shift that he has taken on quite a bit. Not that it's about me, it's definitely not, but it's been challenging. And
Mhm.
then to add to that, I've really struggled actually with, I changed my last name to my husband's last name.
Mhm.
And I really struggled with that identity shift more than I thought I would. Like, I didn't think anything of it. I just changed my name. I was 26, and I was like, yeah, of course I'll change my name. It's easier for the kids, blah, blah, blah. And in the years past, since then, I, I've just, I felt like I was asked to change my identity a little bit. And I
Mhm.
don't know that I was ready to do that. Um, and now I've started calling myself, and we kind of met over Instagram. I've taken my former last name and made it my middle name. So it's Kate
Hmm.
Munhall Weber. And I just didn't realize like what that was going to feel like. I
Yeah.
very much consider myself a Munhall, and I don't think that changed when I got married. And it's no like diss on my husband or like diss on his place in my life. Like he's 100% like an incredible human being, and I feel unified to him. But changing that last name, like it broke me in certain ways. So I've
Yeah.
actually considered, he and I have had long conversations about different ways that we could approach changing this.
Mhm.
We have 4 kids now, so it's a little complicated, but I've read into this quite a bit, and like we could create a new last name combining ours, which like we both laugh because like our families would just think we're nuts, right? Like completely bucking normal stuff. But I love that idea, even though it sounds like, ridiculous. And then there's also like obviously the hyphenated option. What's important to me is that whatever I change my last name to, my husband also changes it. And I believe that like I understand like for organizational purposes and just for like simplicity purposes, the woman has taken on her husband's name. But in my mind, he took on my family just as much as I took on his family.
Hmm.
And I I just feel like it would be so much more meaningful if that was represented in our names together. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I have, like I said, I had strong opinions on that. So
I think that's fascinating. I think that you challenge me in a really good way. I I love that you're in tune with who you are and learning about who you are and communicating that. I think communication is so important. And when you said that you communicate with your husband about that, like that is just a wonderful thing. And I have felt enlightened by this conversation. So I'm
well,
really
I
thankful you're on this.
I appreciate that you've asked me all these questions, and I'm like excited to also hear about other people's names and other people's stories. My husband's name is Boston. It's Austin, Texas, with an F at the beginning, and he's the fourth. And so his name has caused him so much strife over the years. Like if we go to Panera and he orders, he just says, "I'm Frank," because people are like, "What's your name?" And so we've actually talked about names a lot as a family. And so it's been very fun to be on this. And thank you.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, and if he ever wants to be interviewed with the same set of questions, he's more than welcome to come on to the podcast.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Kate. I really appreciate you.
Yep. I appreciate you too. Thanks so much, Jema.